Morning. Good morning. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Welcome to the live. Good morning. Welcome everybody in. Thank you for coming to Sandra P's Gen Extra. I've said good morning down in the chat. I just have a few topics to talk about today, and they are very relevant topics. And then hopefully I can get to some fun stuff, which I believe I will. I think I'll end on the good news. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful, thoughtful Tuesday today. Today is one of my days off as well. I am due to return back to work tomorrow. So I'm just trying to make sure I have everything in order. My mood is level and I can go in with a smile on my face because it's been kind of a heavy work environment for me. I work in the airline industry and we had a lot of things happen recently that are not great news. So this morning, I just want to say good morning. We'll go over a few current events that kind of caught my attention this morning. And welcome everybody in the bushes. Welcome everybody that can drop down in the chat and say hello. Please like, share, subscribe to the video, comment for Team Replay. I appreciate that so much. And I'm going to run a banner just in case I start speaking about something. I would like you to know that everything said on this video is alleged and my own personal opinion. But I'll read a couple of news articles and give my opinion on those. There's a copyright disclaimer. It's under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, and allowance is made for fair use. Purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting. I'm running the banner, and I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I have my water next to me. There's been some spring weather around here. And where I live, if the spring even looks like it's going to get started, even though it's supposed to be 6 more weeks of winter, if spring even peeks her head around the door, pollen is out and anybody with any type of allergies starts to become affected. So that is what's going on with my voice. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. I appreciate it. And the first topic that I was going to cover it came to me in the threads. I have threads and it's so interesting to me. I love threads. I want to play a video. Hopefully I have saved it. The thing about threads is that once you save it, it's kind of buried. So that's kind of backwards. I like to actually be able to look at what I've saved and have it come up. Okay, here it is. We'll play this video.
Administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed. Beyond betrayed.
Venezuelan.
They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
Press conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans denounced the Trump administration and South Florida Republicans.
More than betrayed.
Play it again.
Beyond betrayed. They used us. They actually, during the campaign, and I don't want to make this political, but during the campaign, the elected officials from the Republican Party, they actually told us that it was not going to touch the documented people.
Press conference in Doral Monday, Venezuelan Americans.
That's Doral, Florida. That lady speaking is actually a Venezuelan, and she believes she's legal. She's saying that she only thought the orange clown was going to touch people that were undocumented. The specific program she's talking about is temporary protected status. The people that probably the greatest number of people with that would be Cubans. Now, white Cubans use that a lot and believe that that makes them equal to their counterparts, their American clear people. It actually does not. Cubans were also included in temporary protective status, Venezuelans, as well as Haitians. And in my opinion, I believe this group thought that it would just impact or touch the Haitians. So that is what happens when people vote in order to hurt someone else and they end up hurting their own community. This lady's saying she feels betrayed. I didn't pay a lot of attention to the orange clown, but I will give him this. He promised that he was going to begin mass deportations on day one of his administration. And that is what he actually did. So that is a promise that he is living up to. I feel sorry for the people that actually are undocumented and did not have a right to vote. Their relatives, their friends, their family actually voted against their interest. So now I wonder if Venezuelans and the Cubans are going to work with the Haitians to get temporary protected status back. I know a lot of it is are in the courts right now. So we'll see what's going to happen. I think that the flurry of activity we've seen from the Orange Clown, he's doing so much so quickly to kind of flood everything so that the hopes of even half of it will get through and hurt as many people as possible, as those voters and that him and his cabinet would like to hurt. I'll read a few comments based on that. That was from Keith Boykin. Keith Boykin is a journalist, and he has a big presence on YouTube. He's growing a lot too, and this was also on Threads. So I'll read a couple of comments so we can see what a fellow people think. That's a long one. Okay, I'm tired of seeing her freaking face. Y'all voted for him because he said he'd get them, not realizing you are them. So shut up. You were fine when it was other brown people. Now you want sympathy. Every last one of you who support him, get out. We don't trust you. Get out. What are your signs? Where are your signs, Hispanics for Trump? Take them too. Effing clowns. That person has zero sympathy. I'm not there yet. I don't actually feel that. I feel a sense of sympathy. But I also feel a sense of where they say F-A-F-O. So that's what's happened in this case. We've reached the F-O portion. And this is Black History Month. Every day is Black History Month. Every day this year is going to be Black History Year. This T-shirt this morning, this is Octavia Butler. She's one of my favorite authors. She wrote a series of books that started with Parable of the Sower, and it is almost clairvoyant. She sees in 2024 what the country has come to, and it's a lot of the same things that are actually happening now. I just got a note that said all transit services are free locally. So that's great. That's amazing. So the comments are eating this lady up. Imagine being so stupid you believe a single word he says. It's an intelligence test, and as usual, Republicans lost. That's harsh, but I can understand that. I can understand that. I listened to what he was saying, and I'm not confused about what he was going to do. So that was the first topic, that lady being really upset. Okay, now we have the NFL announced it will still support DEI initiatives. Now, I don't want to be skeptical, but the NFL has its own problems. If that is indeed the case, they don't want to upset their main base of players any more than they have already. So that's interesting that they're saying that they're going to continue to support DEI policies. And then there's another issue, the iPhone. I changed my iPhone to where I can actually choose to update. I took it off of automatic updates because when we were in St. Thomas, there were a few people, they stopped having access to TikTok. And we found out it was because of automatic updates, it was removing TikTok. So for people that wanted to keep TikTok, they were either using an Android, they were using another phone. So this is really interesting. There's information that the new updates are going to link with Starlink. Starlink is the South Africans company, one of the South Africans company. Excuse me, I need to take some water. I had coffee this morning. It makes my mouth really dry, but I still love coffee. So that's interesting. This person, the unelected South African, he's still wreaking havoc. And no one's elected him to anything. The only thing he did was help win this election by any means necessary. Those are my own words. By any means necessary. And he is now making a mess up there, in my opinion. There's a bunch of federal lawsuits, and I'm reading from the Business Insider. It says federal employee unions are suing the Treasury and alleging, I'll say his name because it's in the article, Elon Musk, DOGE. This is not a cabinet. This is new. This is something that the Orange Clowns people came up with. It's Department of Government Efficiency. Congress has said nothing about funding this bootleg agency. We don't really know what they're supposed to do, but they're wreaking a lot of havoc. And what the federal employee unions that are suing, what they're saying, what they allege in a lawsuit, that this person has gained illegal and unprecedented access to data. So that's 3 separate federal employee unions that have filed a lawsuit against the Treasury Department. The unions accused Scott Bessent, who's the Treasury Secretary, of sharing sensitive data with Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. So this is really concerning, everyone. Whether or not you voted for this person, he's given access to American citizens' information to this unelected South African. And the first few days of the administration, we remember there were emails going out to federal workers, and I was encouraging them, a lot of people were encouraging them not to resign. If you're ready for retirement anyway, I'm not speaking to those people 60 and over, because they're going to do what they're going to do, and I respect their thoughts and what they decide to do. But the younger people, everyone knows someone who has gotten a federal government job. It's not easy. They go through many steps. They have to be highly qualified. A lot of time they recruit on college campuses. When I was in college, there was one of the departments that would come and recruit. They had such a lengthy list of requirements for the resume. It's not something I ever sought. And then the areas that I lived in were not big in government jobs anyway. So I lived in New York. I also lived in North Carolina, still live in North Carolina. So those jobs are all over the country. But for me, I didn't consider those jobs. But the people that I graduated with that are in those jobs had done very well. I worked for a broker dealer years ago, and they would handle government plans, thrift plans, and they were able to accumulate a lot of money within their thrift plans. So people are really concerned with the access that this person and this new bootleg agency has. They've even locked some people out of their computers. And this is really scary that he's doing that. Let me put up comments. I'm sorry, I haven't been able to get down in the comments because I didn't want to move from where my banner was. But I'd like to say good morning to the people that dropped down in the chat. I've said good morning to the people that are in the bushes. I appreciate them as well. So that's something that people, if you work for the government or not, the Treasury also handles any payments, any Social Security payments. Rest in peace to both my parents. They drew their Social Security for years before each one passed away. My father lived to be 88. My mother lived to be 93. That is the group of people that actually probably drew out a lot more than they put in. But Social Security is still solvent. It's still healthy. But it looks like this group is going to try to either rob it or kill it altogether. So that is scary. And one of the things that this person has gained access to are the payment systems. And I want to see if there are any comments in here related to this, because this is an extremely interesting topic to me. I'm sorry, I'm just going to pull it up somewhere else so it's easier for me to read my comments that come in through the chat while I'm in there. And thank you, everyone in the bushes. I appreciate you as well. I always do. So that was 2 topics so far, 2 kind of heavy news topics. The first one was the Venezuelan lady saying that she felt betrayed. She also felt documented because she's here under temporary protected status. And then that has been yanked out from under them, along with Cubans, along with Venezuelans. And they're upset about it because I believe they thought, in my opinion, they thought they were only going to hurt the Haitians. Good morning, Capricorn Flower. Good morning, Sharon Gobble. I hope both of you are doing well this morning. Thank you for dropping down in the chat. I appreciate it. And I don't know if you missed the topics, but one of the ones was the temporary protected status being yanked. That's a lawsuit as well. They're being sued on behalf of the immigrants that are they have paperwork. They actually are legal because they're here under a temporary protected status. The biggest one of the biggest news stories was when Haiti had that terrible, they had an earthquake. And a lot of Haitians were able to come here under temporary protected status. And it's been something that has been renewed for years. It's not even anything people would argue about. If someone comes here and they have their paperwork, they are under that temporary protected status, absolutely, they deserve to be here and can put in their paperwork to become a citizen, or even if they don't want to be a citizen, get paperwork to be able to work here legally and that sort of thing. So this person is now taking their right away from them to do that. And then the other thing is that new department is going into payment systems and actually accessing our information. And I had it up what information that is at risk. And it's for all of us. I was talking to my sisters about it and my nieces, and I told them, I said, the best thing to do is go to ssa.gov. And when you go to ssa.gov, a lot of you may already be signed up on that website. If not, you can create a login, because that's another thing they've done. A lot of the government websites are down or they're overloaded with people trying to get information. So when you get in there to that website, what I need you to do is look for your earnings, your life earnings, ssa.gov, and print out. They'll send you a printout of what you've been putting in to Social Security from your first job. My first job was at 14. I had a summer job. Westchester County always had a summer program, and we made whatever minimum wage was. I think for me, it was $3.35 at the time. And at that, whatever age you get your first W-2, you are paying into Social Security. So as I mentioned, my parents respectively passed away at 88 and 93. They have been working since very young and putting money into Social Security since very young, and they lived off that money at the end. Years later, my father had a job when we moved to North Carolina. He moved first. He worked with Sara Lee knit products, and then they were bought out by Hanes underwear, and he worked with Hanes for years. And so he had a small pension, but the bulk of their money was Social Security. So when we think about this new government department having access to our seniors and all of our Social Security number, the payment system, this is scary, because what happens if they do something and they freeze these payments? My mother has 7 children, my mother and father. Their money that they receive paid for them to live comfortably. And they also had 7 children that they could lean on, one after the other, depending on who was, doing well at that time. And then sometimes all of us were able to help. Sometimes very few of us were able to help. But what are these seniors going to do that don't have a backup, don't have people that can help them, get food for them, get their medication for them, if these payments are frozen? That's something that we need to be thinking about. So make sure you go to ssa.gov and print out your statement of how much money you have put in over time since you were a teenager up until now. And I'm still looking. I had it up there saying what those systems were, saying what the payments were. And I just want to read off that so everybody will know how pertinent that is to everyone. And this was from the Economic Times. Okay, it says any Social Security payments, which will include SSI, any Medicaid payments. I know my mother qualified to receive a payment to help with medication. Any person that, if you've lost a parent and you are a younger person and you're in college, they also get Social Security. Any payment that's coming out of the Treasury, these people have access to. And now there are lawsuits that are forbidding them to touch them or to do anything with it. And I'll look at the comments. I have a good one from Sharon Gobble. Let me see if I can. I just now started learning how to pin these. Okay, I'll star the comment. Okay, there we go. Sandra P. I can't understand why these people are acting surprised. They thought the orange man was only talking about Black people. He told them what he was going to do, and they still voted for him. 100%, Sharon. I don't agree with him on a lot. I don't agree with him on this. But what they're doing now is trying to make it as if he came out of left field and shocked everybody. This is what he said he was going to do. That's exactly what he said he was going to do. And he's doing it. And it's hurting more than just the people they were hoping to hurt. And that's the sad thing about certain people in our country. They will vote against themselves as long as they can hurt somebody else and not themselves. And it's just something that I've never understood. There's one group who always votes with everybody else in mind, and that's the 92%. I'm in the 92%. That's the 92% of Black women voted for the qualified candidate, Vice President at the time, Kamala Harris. And she was actually running, and she was always speaking about what her platform was, that she wanted to help working families, and she wanted to be able to, there was student loan forgiveness. She started that before Joe Biden even left office. She also is a big proponent of HBCUs. Now we see them being threatened again. She also wanted to give first-time home owners $25,000. They put the $35 cap on insulin. That's one of the things the Republicans went in and wanted to actually overturn. They don't want the $35 cap on insulin. And you say, who would be against diabetics and insulin? Well, people that have received a lot of money from healthcare companies and pharmaceutical companies, they are against caps on medication. Also, Ozempic, that's something that diabetics are required to take, certain type of diabetics, and they were having a hard time getting that because a lot of people are using that as a weight loss drug. So that is another drug that I heard that the price of that was going to quadruple. So that should be scary for a lot of people. Also, this is a new one. This just happened yesterday, I believe. There's a department that allows Americans to file their taxes online for free. That was a program that Elizabeth Warren, Senator Elizabeth Warren out of Massachusetts, she set that program up. Now, actually, I'll be candid, I went into their system. To me, it was too complicated. I do my own taxes, but I was never successful filing those online for free. So I think it would be with the easier tax forms, because I also have to file for a small business. This year, I'm actually going to have to get an accountant because it's become a lot more difficult. When I just had a 1040 Easy, 1040A, one of the easier forms, I would file on my own. But what they've done is Elon Musk, I'll call him the South African. He's unelected, as we all know. He announced on Monday that he dissolved the IRS's free file program. He revealed that he deleted the group of individuals who oversaw the system that allow Americans to easily file their taxes for free. So those must be part of the group that is complaining that they couldn't get into their computer systems. So that on one hand, a lot of people are getting emails asking them to resign and promising them 8 or 9 months severance, which we don't believe they'll ever see. And then on the other hand, they are laying people off, not renewing contracts. And it's a mess. Some people are calling for him to actually be deported. Somebody put a funny comment in here. I'll read it. I don't know whether or not it's true. This is all alleged in my opinion. They said ICE shut down its reporting line because 90% of the calls were just people reporting Elon Musk. I don't know. He has bragged about he came into the country and he did not have all his paperwork in order. But because he has money, they fly in on those private jets and they are actually able to maneuver around a lot of the rules. Just as a little silly aside, we know that Portia Williams, when she married that man Simon, he doesn't even use his real name, allegedly, and in my opinion. And he's been able to fly in and out of the country on a private jet, and nobody knows his immigration status. So the rules just apply to the working class and middle class. If someone comes in on a private jet, I guess the gig is up. They can do whatever they want. Okay, another lady recommended what I recommend. She said, just went to the SSA website, that's ssa.gov, printed out my current Social Security statement, current benefit verification letter, and earnings record. Highly recommend that you do the same. I do as well. I recommend you do the same as well. That is something else, everybody. Here's someone else on here. Help. Is North Carolina participating in the 50 marches, 50 states protest? Detail, please. Anybody going from Robeson County? I don't mess with Robeson County. North Carolina has 100 counties and about 95% of them look a certain way. And I wouldn't be marching anyway. I'm going to let other people march first. I'm going to do what I can do from the house and recommend that other people do what they can do, work from home. You can go on that website and print out what you need to print out, even if you have to go to the library and do it. That's something that's very important. Let me look at the comments, see what else is in here. Okay, and thanks to everybody that's in the bushes as well. And here's a Slate magazine article. I actually like them. They have a lot of good information in here. I'm a federal worker. People don't understand the level of heist Elon Musk is perpetrating. And let me see if I hate when you click on an article and then it tries to make you pay. It's behind a paywall, because they shouldn't just post those links if it's behind a paywall. On Friday night, reports emerged that Elon Musk aides had tussled with Office of Personnel Management and Treasury staffers while demanding access to troves of information about federal employees. On Sunday, it was reported that Musk had ousted top officials at the U.S. Agency for International Development for refusing him access to classified security and personnel information. Those of us within the ranks of the federal workforce looked on in horror at all of this. Those outside the federal government might not understand the gravity of this situation. Think of the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, and the Treasury's Bureau of the Fiscal Service as the valet that shields of the federal government. They're not flashy or big, but they hold all the keys. That's a great comparison, comparing them to a valet. They hold all the keys. OPM maintains the private information of federal civil servants, bank codes, addresses, insurance information, retirement accounts, employment records. The Treasury's system processes every payment to everyone, from grandmothers waiting for their Social Security checks to cancer researchers working to crack the cure. Now there's a ham-fisted goon in an ill-fitting valet attendant's coat rummaging in broad daylight through all of the keys. Can you imagine that? All of that private information, previously given in trust, handled with care and regulated by law. Now is the moment to act. We should not be waiting until the perps are driving off with every Beamer in the lot. This information demands careful management and transparency around its collection and use. Its inadvertent disclosure could irreparably harm millions of Americans' family, and it's being taken by people that still can't figure out how to send an email from within the government without having it flagged as likely phishing attempt. That's what happened the first few days when they were sending those emails. People thought they were being scammed because they were so poorly written and ignorant. People thought that it was a fake email. T. Lee, good morning, T. Lee. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for dropping down in the chat. Capricorn Flowers, I love when you speak to everyone. Glam Rocks, beautiful Glam Rocks is working on her birthday. Happy birthday to Glam Rocks. Go over to her YouTube channel and bless her if you see fit to do so. Good morning, Glam Rocks. She gives a powerful prayer in the morning, and then her and her co-host Toot Latrice give a lot of information and give a lot of laughs, some rants, and always positivity. So good morning, Glam Rocks. Thank you. Glam Rocks is saying good morning to everyone in the chat. Okay, and now I'm going to read Sharon Garbolt. I'm from New Jersey, and ICE is running rampant around here. Certain Latino organizations want Black people to march and protest with them, not me. Sharon Garbolt, we just have to wish them well, pray for their safety from inside our home. We've done our share of marching. I'm sure we will again, but currently we are part of that 92%. We voted for everyone. When I looked at the actual polls, Latino men, a majority, voted for what's happening now. They voted for the Orange Clown. The Latino women, I believe they were right on the border. So I'm not going to give too much on them, but that's going to be their men and also them. So that's not something I can line up to do. Capricorn Flower, she told Glam, happy birthday, boo. We love Glam over here. And she says, I'm from New Jersey. Okay, we just read that one. I'll put up Glam's birthday greeting. So isn't that interesting? Trying to hurt one group, which would be, I believe, the Haitians and their temporary protected status. And this man took that little pen with that serial killer signature. He got the craziest signature, and wiped out the Venezuelans' protected status and also the Cubans' protected status. I know they're going crazy in Miami because they always look to the other group and say, get them, they're doing this, this, and this. You never met a Haitian doing this, this, and this. I'm not gonna paint a broad brush, but in my experience, lovely, hardworking, beautiful, humble people. And they don't deserve to have any fingers pointed at them. That temporary protected status covered multiple groups, and rightfully so. So if you aim at someone else and then the flashback gets you, don't cry. And also don't expect me to march with you. I can't do it. It's dangerous. Glam Rock is thanking everyone for our happy birthday wishes. I take off on my birthday. I worked for a company years ago. We had, I think, 10 or 12 holidays. And then they have a roving holiday, which everyone's birthday would be a holiday. So you're not required to work that day. And in all that time, I've never worked my birthday since. That was one of the best ideas that company had. But they need you where you are, Glamrox. Glamrox is in a field that's very important. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day when you get off work. Okay, now there is some comments. No one voted for Elon Musk to be doing anything. And we agree with that. We agree with that. Yeah, we do. I believe that he compromised that election. I really do. Now I'm going to go in, and there was some other news that I had. I think there was one more serious topic, and then I want to go over to some topics. Okay, and also they're going to play a video. And thanks to everybody in the bushes. Okay, now here we go. This is, everyone gonna know who this is. He actually would have been a boomer. He would have turned 77 a few days ago. That's Mr. Rick James, everybody, from Buffalo, New York. Motown artist, guitarist, singer. He's amazing. I love Rick James. But he would have turned 77 a few days ago. And they posted this.
And leave them. Yes! That's what I used to do. Sing your song. I used to use and abuse them, baby. And then I laid eyes on you.
I have to cut it off because I don't know what they'll do with the music. But I think that song was different enough from the original to how they were singing it. And they are the original artists. That is Rick James, rest in peace. And my beautiful Tina Marie, rest in peace. I don't give out cards to the cookout, but she had one before I was born. I love Tina Marie. And that's my kind of carrying on. That's at our BET Awards. That's why I never understood why some of us would cry over these other awards. Let them people have their awards, because you know that we could and should win almost anything when we're up against certain people. Unwashed legs, unseasoned chicken. There's no way Beyonce wouldn't win everything. So stop begging the people for their awards. Now, she did win Grammy for Best Country Album, and they're mad about that. But that is Rick James and Tina Marie, Fire and Desire. That's when they play that stuff on the radio. Little kids be out singing. We'd be outside singing that like our heart was broken. Fire and Desire. How many people remember Rick James? I didn't know he would have been 77. Capricorn Flower says she always take off on her birthday. Super Freak. That's him, Capricorn Flower. Shan Gabo, no, she said, Lord, that was the jam. That was. Anywhere in the country where you live, they would usually have like a Friday night special or something like that. And this song would always lead it off. Slow jams. Capricorn Flower. Why, when I had my surgery, they said I was singing Tina Marie? She was in your brain, Capricorn Flower. They put you on them good drugs and then you started singing. Fire and Desire. That's one of my favorites. We have lost so many people, and I miss them too. Okay, you know what? I will sandwich in a serious one because I'll try to find some more fun topics. This is condolences. We know that DC plane crash happened the other day. This young lady, look how beautiful. Look at that smile. She was starting a new job at Howard University. Look at her. She knows she got that job. Beautiful. She's no longer here. Condolences. Civil rights attorney and aspiring Howard University professor Kia Duggins among victims in the fatal DC plane crash. So she already had the job. She was a civil rights attorney for the nonprofit Civil Rights Corps and a former Miss Butler County. She was traveling from Wichita, Kansas to DC, where she was preparing for her upcoming role as a professor at Howard. So that was the one that was the American Airlines flight and the Army Black helicopter. Duggins was a Harvard Law graduate and a passionate advocate for social justice. She worked on cases challenging unconstitutional policing and money bail. Known for her vibrant personality and commitment to justice, she also made an impact in the pageant world, earning top 10 honors in Miss Kansas competition. Friends and colleagues remember her for her kindness, her curiosity, and zest for life. The crash's cause is under investigation. Prayers to every victim of this tragic crash. They've retrieved the black boxes. So I hope that the investigation is non-political, is serious, and gives us some answers, because there's so many losses on that flight. There were a lot of people that were ice skaters, just everyone. She was an educator. She was an attorney. She was taking a job at Howard, going there to begin her job. So that's terrible. That is a great loss to everyone. Okay, now, Tina Marie and Rick James, that was a palate cleanser. That was fun. I'm going to try to find something else that is kind of fun, or at least not a serious topic. I don't like to end on a down note. Okay, I talked about this during my review.
Absolutely, yeah.
How you doing? Who is that? From the night. She met him in the dating. Oh, what's up?
How you been, brother? Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, man.
Interesting that she would bring Shaq here on the couples trip. A man she barely knows.
Welcome.
Hey, guys.
Hi, good seeing you again.
I know that Heavenly had no idea Phaedra was bringing Shaq. This has to throw a monkey wrench in her plans with Apollo now.
Introduce your man to the group since some of the people have not met him yet, but I remember him.
Sweet Tea had a speed dating event, and we matched.
Okay, what's your name?
Phaedra. You can call me Mama.
We have made a sweet fairy connection. Look at my work.
So we've been on a few dates.
And now I'm here.
Why would she bring a man when she ain't brought a man last year?
In this group, y'all seem to rally for marriage. Maybe if I were in this group when I was in my past marriage, it might have turned out differently.
Do you have your own room?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like
No, it's not. You're taking it slow.
She got a
Okay, we heard Dr. Heavenly weighing in on why Phaedra was bringing a man. But before that, did y'all hear Dr. Simone? Now, what monkey wrench would be thrown into Dr. Heavenly's plan from Phaedra bringing a date on a couples trip? She said Apollo was coming. She said Apollo was coming alone. What kind of friend would set up their single friend, their divorced friend, with a married man? Apollo has a wife. Shireen was supposedly not going on the trip. So did y'all catch what Dr. Heavenly and Dr. Simone were trying to do? That's kind of sneaky. That's why Phaedra doesn't like or trust them. That's why she's going back to, let me cut my camera off 1 minute. I got to wipe my face. Going back to Married to Medicine. She's leaving Married to Medicine, going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because that's really messy. T. Lee says, yes. T. Lee must have came in when we were playing Fire and Desire. That is funny. But that Married to Medicine clip, that shows us that Phaedra is actually correct when she suspects that they don't mean her any good. And I would have to agree with her. So that was the last little clip I have. I thank you for stopping in. I'm right at 40 minutes. And we just had a few topics, a few serious topics. The homework, SSA.gov. I'm going to put that down in the chat. So if you don't already, let me see, SSA.gov. If you don't already have your printout for how much you have earned since you began working, and it gives you an estimate on if you work to a certain age, how much you would be owed monthly, or if you become disabled. Thanks, T. Lee. T. Lee's working and listening. I appreciate you being in the bushes. I do. I really do. And dropping down in the chat to say hello. But that SSA.gov, all of us, sometime this week, just make that time. Go over there, log into your account, print out, screenshot your benefit verification letter, because it's going to be very important. There's various lawsuits going on by federal employees and their unions, because something serious is getting ready to happen. We may be watching a heist of the federal treasury. We know, I watch a lot of drama and a lot of movies that have intrigue, political intrigue. I used to love Homeland, the show with Claire Danes, but we're watching this in real time, because if the way I compare it, and I actually have 2 Republican senators, I wrote them both. I'm going to call their office today, and I told them I would like you to pretend that it was Barack Obama putting a non-elected South African in charge of the payment systems, and then conduct yourselves as if he were doing that. Do what you would do. They'll be calling for all kind of investigations, and we know that. Capricorn Flower asked, she said, Sandra P., they only send out our SSA payments in the mail every few years, right? Capricorn Flower, I never got one until I went online and I requested it. And then after that, they do send it every few years. But I don't know if it was because I went in there and requested it and then that triggered them sending it, or if they automatically do that for everyone. I would recommend sometime this week, if you get the time, just log on to SSA.gov anyway and print it out. Because one of the people that has access to that system, the man's 22 years old. Not that you can't be 22 and competent, but at 22, I don't know what he's thinking, because they like to call Social Security entitlements and things like that. It's not about someone being entitled. It's money that's actually been paid in since you were working as a teenager up until now. Capricorn Flower says it might get one every 5 to 7 years. Yeah, it seemed like that is about the right time frame. But again, I don't know if they just automatically start sending them. So I think it would be smart to just go in there and get some. But one of the people in charge of that was a 22-year-old. So he's putting a lot of people in there that don't have the experience that they're replacing certain people with. And then this person is unelected. So that's something we need to all look out for ourselves. Try to find Fire and Desire somewhere today, or Super Freak, and play that. Get your mood, have a positive mood. That's one of my songs. And I thank everybody for stopping by Sandra P's Gen Extra. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Thoughtful Tuesday. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, actually. And Glam Rocks enjoys the rest of her birthday. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.